Welcome to the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. Are you over 40 and tired of struggling with your weight? Do you feel like you're constantly starting over with your nutrition and fitness? I'm Lil, a certified nutrition coach and former registered nurse, and I too have been there. At the age of 44, I decided I was done with being stuck in the vicious diet cycle. I became a nutrition coach and created the Feel Your Best Formula for women who are ready to do things differently. If you're ready to build a better relationship with food, get your energy back, build muscle, lose fat, and keep it off for good, then you're in the right place. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's build your formula for feeling your best. Hey there, welcome to the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. I'm Lil, and I am so excited to share this method of building healthy habits with you today. I have just started using this system for about a month, and when I tell you it's life-changing, I mean it. And it's shocking to me, number one, that I had never heard of this system before. And I'm just very surprised that there isn't more discussion about it. I suspect that there isn't as much chatter about it because no one has monetized it yet. Nobody has built a planner around it yet. And it is kind of a hidden gem out there when it comes to productivity, being organized, and reaching your goals. But today I am going to share with you the 1-3-5 method. And the reason that I want you to listen to this, I want you to take notes if you can, is because I want you to start using this method like right now, today. When you decide what your day looks like tomorrow, you can easily use this method to make sure that you are focusing on what matters, because ultimately that is what is at the heart of this. Additionally, if you ever are feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you have so many things that have equal priority or equal importance, and you just have a hard time deciding where to begin or what to start with or what truly is the most important thing that you should be doing, then this method really just takes a neon sign and prioritizes things for you, saying this is the thing that needs to be lit up bright today. This is the neon sign saying this is what specifically needs to get done today. And then it's basically a hierarchy, and it's so manageable. And what I love about it is simple, it is flexible, and it is effective. Now, those three words right there, simple, flexible, effective, I feel like if you were to describe the Feel Your Best Formula system for building muscle and losing fat, those would be the top words that I would use to describe my method of coaching. So, of course, the 1-3-5 method of building healthy habits and organizing your day goes hand in hand with the Feel Your Best formula. Okay, why I love this. Obviously, I just said it's simple, it's flexible, it's effective. And if you're an OG listener, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I always talk about how important being organized and having systems and trying to create calm out of the chaos in your lives, it really is key to building healthy habits. And this 1-3-5 method is exactly that. It's going to help you create calm out of the chaos. And I think a huge problem that many of us have, especially as women, balancing all these different facets of our lives, from our careers to our families to running a household to taking care of additional family members to maintaining friendships. And then on top of all that, of course, building these healthy habits to help us feel and look good. It is hard sometimes to know which one should I be prioritizing right now? It feels like there can be so many things that are important at the same time. And I want you to use this method to give yourself clarity each day and have an honest talk with yourself. What really is the most important thing that I need to get done today? Because it can be harmful to our mental health, our sanity, when every single day we wake up and just think that everything is important. And I say that as someone who truly used to feel that way. And sometimes it can be paralyzing, especially if you're going through some sort of, crisis, or you also are really excited to work on yourself and start something new for yourself that's going to help you level up in your own life, whether it's something related to your career or, health and wellness, whatever that is, that has to take priority, right? When you're starting something new. And what you can do is just have this honest conversation with yourself. I recommend with this method to start your planning the night before. At the end of my workday, I map out my 1-3-5 method for the next day. And it includes this time where you just really have an honest conversation with yourself and ask yourself, what is the most important thing that I need to get done tomorrow? So you're asking yourself, well, okay, Lil, explain the 1-3-5 method. What the heck is it? It is so simple, but here it is. First of all, it can be used in any planning system. I have been using the same planner for years, and I loved that planner because it really did help me understand the importance of having systems, having routines, setting aside time every single day to make sure I know what I'm doing tomorrow, and waking up in the morning and making sure I'm solid on what exactly am I supposed to be getting done today. And I use that system. It also really taught me the importance of having a weekly review and reflecting and then planning. And I learned so much from the system. But the planner pages, what I've been finding over the past probably 3 months, is the planner pages, which are, obviously printed and, you purchase them and then you fill in the blanks. They are not matching my own systems that have really been working for me. And I felt like it just wasn't the right fit. And what I love about the 1-3-5 method is I literally picked up a notebook that I had. I have this really cute notebook that I got at TJ Maxx for $5, maybe, I don't know, a year ago, that I've just randomly used to take notes over time. I used it to study for my nutrition certification, and I haven't used it since. So I picked it up and I said, I'm just going to use this notebook. So I turned to the first blank page. And since I started the 1-3-5 method, I've only been using a simple notebook every day to plan my days. And I don't really see myself going back to an actual planner because I use my Google Calendar and I use TickTick as digital systems to follow through on what I write in my planner. So I'm saying goodbye to actual pen and paper planner right now, and I've just moved to this notebook. So what is it? It's exactly what it says, 1-3-5. And it is about creating a hierarchy each day so that you can list out all the things that need to be accomplished in an order of importance. And it's just as simple as this. Your 1 is your single most important thing that you need to get done this day. And in my planner, I put a big star and I underline it. That's what I do. That's my 1. It's a big star, and then I underline it and I write down whatever that is. Today, guess what? It was record this podcast, because normally I release podcast episodes on Mondays. This weekend was Father's Day. Last week was totally nuts. It was also very loud in my neighborhood with lots of lawnmowers and neighborhood kids playing and dogs barking. And I just never found that time to hunker down and get this podcast episode recorded. And so when it came to planning my day today, which was last night, I said, this has to be my number one non-negotiable, the big thing that needs to get done today. And so you decide for yourself, what is the one thing that is of the utmost importance, your highest priority task? What is it that needs to be done? And you have one thing that is at that level of importance. And then what is the three? Well, very simple. Then you choose 3 medium priority tasks for the day. It could perhaps be grocery shopping. For me, it could be doing something like my client check-ins. Now, of course, those are non-negotiable, but it might not be quite as important as something bigger, like making a very specific doctor's appointment or working on something that has a very clear timeline on it, because that is going to take importance over my client check-ins. But I know that I'm going to get my client check-ins done because that is on the medium priority level. Other things that you might have are appointments or meetings. And just recognizing the fact that those are going to take up a significant amount of your time. Maybe it is a medium priority task for you to sit down and plan a party or take some time to plan out a specific goal that you're working on. Either way, these medium priority tasks are important, but they're not necessarily urgent, and nothing life-shattering is going to happen if perchance you do not get it done today. But you're making the agreement, okay, I'm going to get that number one high priority task done. And then these medium priority tasks, they're important and I'm going to make every effort to get them done. But say if I don't get to the grocery store today, the world is not going to fall apart, but it's going to make my life a heck of a lot easier if I can make sure that I schedule time for that today. So then we know what the 1 is, we know what the 3 is. I bet you can guess what the 5 are. The 5 are your 5 lowest priority tasks of the day. And these are those little odds and ends that we don't want to forget. And they're, again, going to make our lives easier if we get them done. For example, yesterday I had to make sure that I mailed some important items in the mailbox. I actually had to go to the post office to do that. And it wasn't super important. It wasn't, medium important, but I knew I wanted to get it done. I wanted to get it off my plate. I could have pushed it off another day and the world would not have fallen apart, but I really wanted to get it done and get it completed. And you list out each day those 5 low priority tasks that are kind of, it would be nice if I got those done today, but it isn't necessary. And it's not a huge deal if they get pushed back a day. So it could be something as simple as a cleaning task in your home. It could be something like calling to make a certain type of appointment. And what I find with the 5 low priority tasks is often I just put 2 or 3, and then as the day goes on and maybe something new gets put on my plate, then that might get put on there. So I usually start my day with 2 or 3 low priority tasks, and then there's some wiggle room there if someone asks me to do something for them and it is something that I can do, then I will just add that to my low priority task for the day. So that's it. That is your system. You have 1 high priority task, you have 3 medium priority tasks, and you have 5 low priority tasks. And what does that mean? It means that in your day, there are 9 things that you hope to accomplish. You know what you need to do first. You know what needs to take priority because that is your high priority task. And then you know how to prioritize those medium level tasks. And what I find often with my lower level tasks is that sometimes those are things I can just do in a quick minute here and there. Say I'm working on something for my business that I've allocated an hour to do, and it only takes me a half hour for 45 minutes, and I find myself with 15 free minutes. Well, maybe that low priority task today was to call and make a doctor's appointment or something. And then I say, oh, hey, I have 15 minutes. Let me just get that checked off. And I find that I can often sprinkle those low priority tasks throughout my day. I also try to batch those tasks, say if they're errands and things like that. Obviously, you're going to want to try to just leave your house once and get all those things checked off. And I find that those are often errands in my life for whatever reason. The other thing that's really helpful about the 1-3-5 method is there might be one day when that top priority task is work related. There might be another day where it is family related and so on. So it really helps give you this sense of freedom to put your energy where it is required. And right now, I'm working on planning my son's graduation party. And I already know that for tomorrow, that is going to be my high priority task, making the grocery list, just making sure that I'm on task with everything that I need to do for that party. And of course, I'm going to be getting actual work done. I'm going to have things I need to do around my house. But I know that prioritizing that task is just going to make me feel so much more organized, accomplished. And then when I actually have time to head out to the store to purchase everything, I'm going to be less likely to feel frazzled or be forgetting things because I've given it the time and attention that it requires. So if you have struggled in those life situations where you just feel like everything has equal importance, this allows you to see that on a day-to-day basis, number one, if you think that all things are equal, then how do you even know where to begin? And the 1-3-5 method teaches you where to begin. And specifically, if you're a beginner when it comes to healthy habits, or maybe you're trying to level up some of your habits, we have to understand that when we are beginning new habits, when they are new to us, when they are not routine, when we have to put a lot of thought and effort into it, then those things should be somewhere in your 1-3-5 daily list. So my workouts, I actually don't put them as a task. They are simply part of my routine that 4 days a week, and I have it mapped out at the beginning of the week so I know which day that's going to be. I know that just as part of my morning routine, I will be doing a workout. But if I was a beginner and it was not something that was just part of my identity and who I was yet, then that workout 2, 3, 4 days a week, when I sit down to do my daily 1-3-5 method, you better believe that workout needs to be somewhere on that list. And it needs to be either the high priority or the medium priority, because you haven't yet established that as something that is mindless for you. You haven't made that habit as mindless as brushing your teeth or taking a shower. And until it gets to that point, then it is something that requires thought, requires effort, requires planning, and it also requires an understanding that it's not just going to happen. You actually have to put in the effort, and what is more satisfying than crossing that off your list? And what I love about this is the 1-3-5 method, especially if you're building new habits, every single day it gives you an opportunity to be honest with yourself. is this important to me? I've said that I want to, work out 4 days a week. Okay, well, it's Wednesday and you haven't worked out once this week. How important is that to you? Is it important enough to put it on your list as a high or medium priority and make sure that you get it done? Because a lot of times we can have thoughts and feelings, and we can sort of have this ideal idea of what we want our life to look like. But the fact is that your life is how you spend your time, it's how you spend your energy, and ultimately your habits create your life. So until that becomes an organic, natural habit for you, then it's going to have to be somewhere on your daily priorities. And I still plan my meal planning and meal prepping, ingredient prepping time into my 1-3-5 method, because it is something that requires thought, it requires effort, it requires a decent chunk of time. And I don't know that I'll ever get to a point where I don't even have to think about it. That type of task is, it takes time. It's going to be something that you are going to have to put effort into, and it's not quite the same type of effort as, oh, I just need to walk down into my basement, I need to pick up my weights, I need to press play on my workout plan, and it doesn't really require much effort other than making the decision that you're going to follow the workout as written, versus meal planning where you have to really think, you got to see what you have on hand, you got to see what your week looks like, and that really needs to be a medium priority task for me each week. And it's just how it is. Do I wish that it was something that didn't require that amount of time and energy? Heck yes. That would be wonderful. But if I'm being honest and I'm being real, if I don't put those items, those tasks for the meal planning and meal prepping, if I don't put it on my daily plan at some point during the week, then what's going to happen? Well, I'm not going to be the person that I said I was going to be. I'm going to experience more difficulty, more chaos, more stress, because I'm not as planned. So that's the 1-3-5 method. And this is why now is the time to start using it. Summer. If you are anything like me, summer can be a little unpredictable. It's definitely a time of year when you can make a plan, and then all of a sudden someone says, oh, I have the day off work, or I'm going to be in town. Do you want to do this? Hey, the weather looks beautiful. Do you want to go on a hike? And the summer can be a little bit less predictable. And the 1-3-5 method really allows you every single day to just think that one day ahead. Because I think for the most part, even when we have, quote, last minute plans, it's usually not that same exact day, but maybe someone's asking us to do something, 1 or 2 days ahead of time, or as the weekend is coming. And the 1-3-5 method allows you to sit down each day and adjust based on new information that has come in. And yes, you can create an ideal week and have a loose plan of what you want your week to look like when you're doing your weekly review and reset the week before. But when it comes down to your day-to-day plan, this 1-3-5 method allows for more flexibility. If someone invites you to go hiking and that's going to take a good 2+ hours of your day, well, that kind of ends up being the high priority task for the day. It's okay, this is going to take a big chunk of my day, and everything else is going to kind of move down to the medium or low priority. And that is totally okay, because you know what? Going on a hike with a friend is good for your physical health, it's good for your mental health, and there's going to be so many benefits to that, just as much as maybe completing a task at work or something like that. So I would love to hear from you if you think this 1-3-5 method is something that you can get on board with. I'm telling you, there is not a lot of information out there on this. And I have seen some like videos and blog posts, and sometimes it seems like people are kind of overcomplicating it. I want you to keep it simple. 1 high priority task, 3 medium priority tasks, and 5 low priority tasks. Because the truth is, the chance of you even completing all 9 tasks on your list each day is, it is not going to happen 100% of the time. I've had maybe a handful of times when I've actually checked off every single item on my list. And what ends up happening is if I don't have it crossed off, then I put a little arrow, and then guess what? It just gets put on the next day's list. And if it was a medium priority task, there's a chance maybe that's going to get moved up to high priority now because maybe a deadline is closer, or maybe it's just more important that I get it done. And if it was a low priority task, maybe it's going to move up to the medium priority tasks, or there's a chance it could stay in the same position that it was. But this is ensuring that you are getting your most important things done, in that you are not forgetting about them, because you're going to carry these things over each day if you don't get them done. And maybe there will be days where you don't have 3 medium priority tasks, and maybe you don't have 5 low priority tasks. But even with the high priority task, I have been using this on the weekends, and that might be something as simple as just making sure I do a little quick cleaning of some area of my house, or it could be a reminder to call somebody and make sure they check in on somebody that weekend. And I'm finding it is a lot less pressure, and it's much more, I'm finding it very enjoyable compared to the planner that I was using, where quite honestly, I didn't really use it at all on the weekends because I really associated it with work and work goals and work tasks, even though I did intermingle it with some personal stuff. And this way, I just feel so in control with, sometimes it might need to be a personal thing that is the most important. Sometimes it might need to be work. And I have the power to choose what that looks like. And I'm taking with me all the things that I've learned along the way to help me plan better and understand how important it is to be honest about whether or not you're really going to get something done. And I've also learned, if you see something where day after day after day you're not doing it, and it's constantly being moved on to the next day, then it's kind of one of those poop or get off the pot situations where you're like, I just need to go do this right now and get it done. Or maybe I need to accept the fact that I'm not going to do it, and I just need to forget about it and cross it off. And it can help you learn about yourself and learn what types of tasks you're actually going to get accomplished. And it helps you learn what really is important to you. Because at the end of the day, when we have goals, we have to ask ourselves, number 1, what do I really want? And number 2, am I really willing to do what it takes to reach that goal? And the truth is that sometimes we make goals and we actually are not willing to do what it takes to reach them. And I think that this method of planning what your day looks like and what you're actually going to accomplish each day kind of helps you realize that maybe you're not being honest with yourself about what you're willing to do or what you're willing to stop doing in order to reach your goal. If you consistently say, I want to work out 3 days a week because I want to get stronger, and you get to Friday and you haven't worked out even one time that week, then guess what? If there was not some catastrophe that happened, guess what? You're not willing to do the work to make that happen. And you need to overcome that obstacle and be honest with yourself that you're just not ready yet. And maybe you need to reach out for some help. But at the end of the day, it is up to you to decide what your day looks like and what your life looks like. And you can't keep saying you want something if you're not willing to make the changes in other areas of your life so that you can focus on those things that you say you want, because we can't have it all. We can't do it all. There's only so many hours in the day. And if you're adding in something new, then you got to let go of something old, especially when it comes to your time. Okay, I hope I explained the 1-3-5 method to you in a way that has you excited and understanding. And there's this really cool thing now in my podcast platform where it says text Lil, and you can actually send me messages, questions, comments. So if you ever want to reach out, I think what I might turn that into is a Q&A where you guys can send me your questions, and then I will actually do an episode where I answer your questions in the Q&A. But you should see a clickable like highlighted piece of text that says you can reach out to me. So I would love to hear what you think of the 1-3-5 method and if this is something that you might start implementing. All right, wishing you the best week ahead. I'm doing my best to be consistent with these podcasts. Life has felt crazy recently, and I always want to remind you that sometimes done is better than perfect, and just doing your best and putting the effort in is so much more important than making sure that everything is just a vision of perfection. And, life is flexible. And if perfectionism and wanting to have everything figured out is holding you back from even taking that first step, then now is the time to reevaluate. And I think the 1-3-5 method could definitely be the system to just help you move in that direction that you want to go. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I always appreciate you. And remember what I said, that you can reach out and send me a message now. Okay? I will see you back here next week. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. If you enjoyed the information and discussion we had here today, then make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you're serious about making changes with your nutrition and fitness, then you definitely want to join my weekly newsletter list as well. You can find the link below and more information in the episode details. That's all for today, and we will see you back here next week for a new episode of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast.